Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Mahajan.
So we'll start.
Dr. Mahajan, good evening.
Today we have gathered here to pay homage to Dr. Iqbal Chand Pathak, former Director PGI Chandigarh, Professor Emeritus and Founder Chairman of the department, who left for his heavenly abode on 21st March this year. I request everyone to stand at their respective places and pay respect to the departed soul by maintaining a silence of 1 minute. Professor Pathak was born in a small village in Punjab on 7th April 1925. After his graduation from Medical Amritsar, he trained in Pediatric Surgery at the Hospital for Sick Children, Great Ormond Street, London. He joined PGI MER Chandigarh as an assistant professor in 1962. Subsequently, he established an independent Department of Pediatric Surgery in 1968, one of the earliest in northwest part of India. Dr. Pathak was Director PGI from 1981 to 85, Honorary Surgeon to President of India 1983 to 85, and President of Association of Pediatric Surgeons of India 1977-78. He received Senior Commonwealth Fellowship, England, and Fellowship of National Academy of Medical Sciences in 1975. He was a recipient of many awards, honors, orations, as well as fellowships, and continued to receive accolades well after his retirement, which included R.K. Gandhi Gold Medal Award in 2006. He was elected as Chairman and Managing Trustee of TTV Chutani Charitable Trust in 1996. Even at the age of 97, he continued to work happily from 9 to 2, 6 days a week, looking after trust and its hospital and providing consultation to the patients till the last day. He was a keen music lover and an avid collector of vocal and instrumental albums. His classic, sophisticated style was always impeccable, an extension of who he was, and something we all wanted to emulate. He participated in departmental activities whenever we requested for same, even after his retirement. Let's take a trip down the memory lane.
You're not audible?
Yes. Which gets glimpse of how integral Dr. Pathak was, not just to the department, but to the PGI as well. You can see him at the time of handing over baton to next generation.
Please move the slide.
Yeah, slides are moving now.
No, they are not moving.
Yes, still. Dr. Mahajan, maybe you should go on to slideshow and then move it on. And
it is a slide show only.
Here it is not showing.
Mahajan slides are not moving.
Are the slides moving now?
No.
No.
Now click on the slide which you want to show, if at all.
It is on slideshow only.
Now on the left side of the computer, you can see the entire slides one by one, no?
You can see them there. So we can see them. You can keep, go ahead.
In clicking them there itself.
Yeah.
maybe another request, Dr. Mahajan, if you can just turn off the videos, just have the slideshow going. Maybe it will move faster, and then we can connect the videos
We
again.
can see it.
Now it started.
Yeah.
Now it started.
It's moving, yeah. Now it's moving.
Now we can see the slides.
Okay. So we can see that Dr. Pathak inaugurating APCOT in 1998 when the department moved to new building. He was part of every milestone that our department has celebrated. He was a keen nature lover, participated in almost all outdoor activities of the department, be it trekking to Council Forest or another hill station at Morni Hills. Now slides are moving.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. He was always one of us. You can see him interacting with alumni of the department in a meeting in 2000. Alumni at all levels could walk up to him and ask for his advice. Dr. Bohra, an alumni from 1981, keenly discussing a point with Professor Pathak, and later on, other alumni walking up to him for guidance and his blessing. He was always available for the department for his guidance, can be seen participating in departmental CME function and relaxing with a cup of tea afterwards. The three subsequent departmental heads who joined after him can be seen on a Teachers' Day function in 2017, receiving and subsequently receiving felicitation from Professor Kelan Rao. On another occasion, last year, October 2022, in IC Pathak, Professor IC Pathak oration, the oration will never be same again. He can be seen at the oration interacting with the visitors who had come on that day. February this year, we had good fortune to invite him to the department on the occasion of retirement of Professor Ramsmuz and my taking over. Dr. Pathak has been blessed with a loving family. His daughter, Dr. Geeta, son-in-law, Dr. Ravi Mehta, grandchildren, Isha and Ishan can be seen in the picture. He was a true leader with an ability to connect even with the lowest person on the ladder and taking everybody along. In his words, ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor IC Pathak. His life was a blessing and his memory a treasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. You have echoed, I think, all our sentiments But I would first like Professor S.K. Mitra, sir.
Yeah. So Professor S.K. Mitra, ex-head of department, he has longest association with Professor Pathak. So Professor S.K. Mitra, sir.
I'm requesting my daughter to speak on my behalf because I have got difficulty in speaking. So please listen to her.
A 50-year-old association came to an end with the sad demise of Professor IC Pathak. I pay my homage with grateful remembrance of a teacher who made a difference. His leadership, mentorship, and guidance personally made me a better person. He was a good human being, an outstanding teacher, and an amazing mentor who always motivated his students and me to give our best. He was humble, polite, and friendly, with excellent bedside manners. As Dr. S.M. Bose rightly said, Professor had been an ustad to thousands of surgeons, and Dr. Narasimhan aptly called him the Bhishma Pitama of our department. But words are inadequate to describe this role model, which we all must follow. He was both the foundation and a pillar of PGI, a competent administrator, and a highly respected person in all walks of life. Through most of my younger days, I tried to emulate him, his teaching and training methodology, his awe-inspiring oratory and writing skills. The only thing that I could never match up was impeccable dressing sense. His entire life was an epitome of dignity. One must learn from him how to live life peacefully with elegance and grace. He exemplified the ideal characteristic of an affable person who was always approachable, a patient listener, and gave sane advice with a pleasant face. Once in a lifetime, people get to meet an amazing teacher like him. And the biggest award to Professor IC Pathak is the love and respect that he commanded during his lifetime and now thereafter as well, as is evident from today's meeting. To a gentleman surgeon who said a pediatric surgeon is a pediatrician to the power 3, to a mentor who established our specialty, to whom many of us owe our career. Cheers, sir. Rest in peace. To his daughter Geeta and her family, our heartfelt condolences. May God be with you in these difficult times. Take pride in the fact that you are the daughter of a phenomenal human being. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Jackie.
Thank you. Now I request Brigadier K.K. Modar, who is the senior-most alumni with us.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Mahajan. First of all, I pray to God, along with all of you, to grant peace to the departed soul and strength to the family. My association with goes back to 1968, beginning of the year, when I had gone to Professor Anand, the director of PGI that time, to do the course to complete my MS Part 2. I see, and he sent me to Professor Pathak. Professor Pathak, I just met him for the first time. The smile with which he received me, I can never forget. And he said, okay, go ahead. And during the training days, he assisted, he showed me how to do that experimental work, which was for my MS examination. And, all along, I always watched him and tried to imbibe what all the best things which he had impressed, as you've already mentioned. And later on, when I started functioning independently as a surgeon in the armed forces, with a little achievement here and there, I always share with him. And he would say, "Aise hi hota hai." And fantastic person, always sort of encouraging and affectionate. The most enjoyable, most memorable my meeting with him was during one of our conferences in Lucknow. Both of us, I chaired a session with him, a great respect, a great regard, and great honor. I probably felt with him, my reverend teacher, as a co-chairperson to one international dignitary speaking on some esophageal problem. And at the end of the presentation, the ceremony of giving sort of gift or so, he asked me to do it. Of course, I managed to do it. And till date, I cannot forget my association with him. And he's always elegant personality, always inspiring and increasing your sort of morale to do the best and all that. And I must say that this has been an excellent, I would say, gesture from the part of department and Professor Mahajan and all of us here, that Om Shanti to the departed soul. Thank you very, very much. And we pray to God for peaceful existence in the heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Manmohan Daga to say a few words, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. Today, where I stand, probably it is because of Dr. Pathak that I am here as a pediatric surgeon. He selected me in my in PGI way back in 76, 77. And fortunately, I have learned so much from him that I used to give him a feedback very regularly as I started my private practice. It was not easy. A man full of grace, an epitome of grace, punctuality, and discipline. And a man who had laid down very clear guidelines on how to manage your records and how to handle people. I learned so much from him in the wards also, and then the wards round, that how to handle an organization, a pediatric surgery department, where there may be differences in opinion as to what a person should do for a UV obstruction or maybe PUJ, and how at that given time things would happen. But he would smile it away and give his opinion and take it easy. That the man has, Professor Pathak has been a revered person. I was fortunate enough to have met him about a year and a half back with Dr. K.L.N. Rao, and it was a pleasure. He invited me for a cup of tea at his place, and at that given time also, a man of tremendous standing, a 97-year-old person who was a 96-year-old person, was erect, very clear in his understanding, and I'm blessed to have a teacher like him. I would like to mention that let us all emulate whatever he gave us in life, rather than more on his death, because let us celebrate his life and emulate whatever he has given it to us. I pray to God for giving him absolute peace hereafter. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor A.K. Sharma to say a few words, please.
Thank you very much, sir. I express my deep sense of feeling for my teacher. I quote Kabir Das ji, who said, that's my feeling, that सात समुद्र की मसी करूं, लेखन करूं बनराज, धरती सब कागज करूं, गुण लिखा न जाए. Meaning by, if I make all the 7 oceans ink, all the forest as a writing instruments, and the whole of the earth as a piece of paper, I'm not able to complete my feeling about my teacher. And we here gathered today to pay homage to a great doyen of pediatric surgery, and his sad demise is a big irreparable loss to the medical fraternity. He was a great academician, a brilliant orator. We always love to hear him, an avid researcher, and a top great human being par excellence, with charming personality, as better than any of the film stars existing today. Dr. Pathak was a founder member of the pediatric surgery in the country. He did not only shape the pediatric surgery specialty, but the medical education. And the best example is the PGI and its department. I remember we organized the annual conference in Jaipur, and all the alumni of the PGI, we gathered together. It was so great to learn that in that conference at that time, there were 5 past pediatric surgery, past president of Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons. I think it is a great tribute to that Pathak. And the other important thing always that he was always ready to help us. We don't have to take time for that. I still remember that he was telling me one day, Ashok, when I select a candidate, there's no pressure on me. I just select him, I just evaluate him and select him. And then I have got 3 to 6 months to assess whether he is capable of getting the proper training or not. If he doesn't suits to the training program, I have all the right to say him goodbye. But after completing the training,
I think that you decide on a color and tell me that I will.
Sorry, am I audible?
Others can be requested to be.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear.
There was some disturbance.
Yes,
I think
sir,
others
you are
can be
audible.
requested to mute themselves. That's all. Should be all right.
I think I've used.
Okay, please go ahead, Dr. Sharma. Please go ahead.
You're audible, sir.
Just hang on a second.
Yes, sir. Carry on. You are audible, sir.
We can hear you, sir.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Very well.
Yeah. So he said after 3 to 6 months, I have all the, I can say goodbye to him. But after completing the training, if his performance is substandard or bit low, he said, I am equally responsible as a teacher because I also lack something to train him. That was a sort of feeling that I at least gathered from him. And I, in spite of many failures in my life, but I never failed any of my MCA students during my tenure. And the best thing is that we don't have to take time. He always ready to help us. Once I completed my training, pediatric surgery training, I did my MCA. I went to him, sir, I want your guidance. He said, yes, Sharma, you go to Jaipur because you come from Rajasthan, you go to Jaipur and it is a very good department and you will be very comfortable there and you will have a career. And I was surprised that he wrote a letter to Dr. Sogani stating, Kailash, I am sending this boy to you, accept him, he will be a, boon to your department and to you. So that sort of feeling, that fatherly feeling he always had for the student, that's wonderful. As far as time, discipline, during my whole stay in pediatric surgery, I only once saw him opening his office. Otherwise, in the first journal club, he was always sitting in his room before anybody came for attending the room. So, and if you want to correct your watch, the first step Dr. Pathak will put in the board for taking round will be 9 o'clock. So that sort of, disciplined teacher, disciplined father. And, another important thing is that he was very methodical. I still remember if you want to present a paper in the conference, you have to present that paper in the department. The people ask all sort of questions to you and you will see so that you can present a good paper and also you can face the questions. That sort of training we had from him all the time. And he was a very disciplined person. I never seen him scolding anybody, but, but they were very scared rather. I would not use scared, but सबको डर लगता था. और इस बात के ऊपर अभी थोड़ा सा माहौल हल्का करूं. एक दफे हमारे साथ डॉक्टर CN प्रसाद साहब थे और अब ये मैं जो सारी बात कह रहा हूँ ये मैंने डॉक्टर CN प्रसाद साहब से पहले बात की और उन्होंने भी कहा कि मेरी तरफ से भी मैं उनकी ये भावनाएं व्यक्त करूं। तो मुझे याद है अच्छी तरह से कि CN प्रसाद साहब ग्राउंड पे थे उस रोज, एक दिन पहले शायद कहीं गए होंगे, तो डॉक्टर पाठक साहब ने पूछा, हाँ प्रसाद साहब कल कहाँ थे? तो प्रसाद साहब उम्मीद नहीं थी कि क्या पूछेंगे। हाँ हाँ सर, हम पिक्चर देखने गए। अच्छा, वेरी गुड। सब PGI में ट्रेनिंग के दौरान पिक्चर बाहर जाके देखना तो ड्रीम ही था साहब। वो जो अपना लोकल जगह थी वहीं कुछ देख लेते, बहुत तक किसके पास टाइम पड़ा था पिक्चर जाने का। अच्छा पाठक साहब ने पूछा, अच्छा प्रसाद साहब कौन सी पिक्चर देखी? तो अब प्रसाद साहब तो बहुत चुके रह गए। हाँ हाँ, इतने में आगे बढ़ गए, हाँ हाँ सोच के बता देना। I still remember, sense of humor. पाठक साहब को एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में प्रेसिडेंट के इलेक्शन के लिए जाना था। मदुरई में कॉन्फ्रेंस थी। हम लोगों को कहा कि तुम सब लोगों को कॉन्फ्रेंस में जाना है, अपने अपने पेपर तैयार करो और सब डिपार्टमेंट में प्रेजेंट करो। अब हमने कहा कि साहब मदुरई तो बहुत दूर है, खर्चा भी बहुत होगा, आप तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ हाँ कोई बात नहीं, PGI देगी तुमको, जाने आने का खर्चा देगी। तो डागा साहब भी याद करेंगे, तो उन्होंने कहा साहब वो थोड़ा पैसे वैसे कम पड़े। तो कहते हैं, ओ भाई वो तू तेरी जनानी वास्ते साड़ी लेनी है, ओदे पैसे भी PGI ने देने, चल काम कर। और that sense of humor we always love to see. Whenever I come to PGI or Chandigarh, it was just going to a mandir for taking blessing of that great man. I will go always with my family, take his blessings. He was a great man, and I am so fortunate to have him as a teacher. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir, for sharing those wonderful memories. Now I request Professor Vishwanath Mukhopadhyay to say a few words, please.
Unmute.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So thanks to Dr. Mahajan and the Pediatric Surgery Department. This is a sad period we are passing through. We lost two stalwarts, founder members of Pediatric Surgery. First, Professor Upadhyay, and then my teacher, Professor IC Pathak. I pray to God that Professor Pathak's soul rest in peace in heaven. And I also wish his daughter and her family members to have the strength to bear this loss and peace in life. I was fortunate to have great teachers like Professor IC Pathak, Professor SK Mitra in PGI, and a great friend
Dr. IC
and
Pathak,
batchmate,
first director,
Professor IC Pathak.
died.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, and a great colleague, friend and batchmate like Professor K.L.N. Rao. I joined pediatric surgery as house surgeon, and during my rotational posting, after seeing the work of my teachers, I was inspired to join in pediatric surgery. Subsequently, I did my MS residency in surgery and then MCH. And I still remember my interview day in MCH pediatric surgery. Professor Pathak was taking interview, and because of my surname, I was in the tail end of the list, and so many candidates were coming out, and they were telling Professor Pathak was asking difficult questions. But so the tension was mounting. When I entered the room, He said bye to bye. And the first question he asked me, when did you change your surname? So I said, sir, my surname is always Mukhopadhyay. Bola, I know as Mukherjee. ये बंगाल में क्या होता है भाई, दो सरनेम होता है, मुखर्जी मुखोपाध्याय, चटर्जी चट्टोपाध्याय, कैसे होता है? And that diffused the tension of the interview. Professor Pathak, to me, was a great teacher, but overall, he was a great human being. And best description of Professor Pathak I have so far read was written by Professor R.K. Gandhi in his monogram, Pediatric Surgery in India. If anybody has got the copy, please read it. I left PGI in January 1983. And since then, whenever I visited Chandigarh, Dr. K.L. Rao was kind enough to take me to two temples, Mansa Devi Temple and Professor IC Pathak's house. Last time also I visited, I think it was 3 years ago, Professor Rao took me to Professor Pathak's house. After asking me what I am doing after retirement from the NRS Medical College, he said, राव के लिए तो फ्रूट जूस है. मैंने बोला सर मेरे लिए भी फ्रूट जूस. बोला no, I have kept single malt for you. Professor Pathak has produced a great family of pediatric surgeons in India and abroad. And we will remember him through his contribution in pediatric surgery and his academic activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before we go on to other alumni, I will request Professor Minu Bajpai to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. First of all, I would like to echo the sentiments of all my senior colleagues from PGI Chandigarh who have spoken so far, and all the colleagues in the fraternity of pediatric surgery. I would mention that how I first came across Professor Pathak's name in the textbook of pediatric urology edited by Condolence and King. I was a resident, that was in 1984. And then I was very inquisitive to know an Indian's name in the textbook of that stature. It was his work on multicystic kidney, which was he had done with Dr. D. Innes William at Great Ormond Street, which was quoted there. I inquired about him, and I was told that he's head of pediatric surgery and director of the PGI Chandigarh at that time. And more than that, people told me he's a very pleasant person and that I should meet him whenever I have a chance. That was, everybody told me that. And I could hear today what all you have said just now. I had the opportunity to meet him several years later in a conference. It is there I realized that he was a very sophisticated person and had a very pleasant aura around him. In the conference where I met him first, every group he was with at periodical intervals, there was a very pleasant atmosphere around him. Wherever he went, things became very sober, and that was very attractive. We subsequently met on several occasions. The Asian Society for Pediatric Urology honored him with the Pediatric Urology Progress Medal in the year 2013, which actually, it was a decoration of the society and the medal. And that's why I tell people that this medal has also been received by Professor Pathak. On behalf of my Department of Pediatric Surgery here at AIIMS, and now as Dean Academics at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, on behalf of the Institute, I think we would always remember him for the very celebrated life which Professor Pathak has lived. We wish him, his soul, a very eternal peace, and the same, we want to give my best wishes and a strength to the family to bear this loss. Thank you very much, Dr. Mahajan and everyone.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. G.R. Prasad, one of the alumni of the department, to please say a few words, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Dr. J.K., for giving me the chance to speak, to pay homage to my teacher, Professor IC Pathak. If we divide the history of pediatric surgery in PGI into three parts, I was lucky to be associated with him in the first half, one-third, where he was my direct teacher. And his standards, whatever discipline, dedication to profession, and dedication to the minute, details of minute, every minute have to be emulated by everyone. And he never came late. I saw many residents coming late, but he never came late. 9 o'clock, tick on the door of recovery post-operative ward of pediatric surgery, 3rd floor in PGI. That time, Professor Pathak was there. He accosted everybody and started. As somebody said, he never was angry at any time. And he was a great guide. Without your knowledge, he is mentoring you. With your knowledge, without your knowledge, you are growing. And his documentation and clarity, his operation notes with line diagrams, his handwriting, all of them tell that what he was as a person. And he produced so many teachers. And it is obvious that many pediatric surgeons trained under him, by him, and by his students in next generation, and currently students of students. And you are all blessed to have his teacher. Now I pray God to give his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. N.C. Bhattacharya to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Professor Mahajan, for giving me the chance to speak a few words. In the month of March, the pediatric surgery fraternity lost 2 pioneers in this field. First, Professor Purushottam Upadhyay, and then Professor Iqbal Chand Pathak. Both were stalwarts who built the foundations of this department of pediatric surgery in 2 different institutions of India. In fact, Professor Pathak was an institution by himself. A perfect gentleman. He never lost his cool in any sort of situations, whether it is a difficult moment in surgery or a very embarrassing situation created by students like me. He was a teacher of teachers and a father figure for all his students coming from the nook and corners of the country. Whenever people like me stand today, or wherever or whenever people like me stand today, all because of his wisdom, his knowledge, and his guidance. I remember a small incident when I completed my MS surgery from PGI way back in 1978. I was in a little confusion state whether I should come out of the PGI Chandigarh or I should go for a super specialty course. Then I went to him and asked him his opinion. He said, you join pediatric surgery. I told him, sir, I have never applied for it. He said, no problem, no problem. You start your duties from today. Today you do the emergency because Dr. PLNG Rao is not there to do his duty. You can apply later on, no problem. I'll tell the academic register. Like that, I started my career in PGI, in pediatric surgery, PGI. His sense of discipline, his sense of timing was absolute, always dot at 8 a.m. in the morning, he'll be in the department. Every day, without fail. And we used to joke that you can set your watch by his presence in the department. On this day, I join all of you for the eternal peace of this noble soul. And I share my condolences to the bereaved family members. As it is said in the scripts, Divyang Lokan Sargachatu. Om Shanti. Thank you, Dr. Mahajan.
Now I request Professor K.L. Rao to express his condolences.
Yeah, thank you, Jai, for giving me this chance to speak. I think amongst the alumni of pediatric surgery, I had the longest, time to longest association with Professor Pathak. I joined him as a junior resident in 1976-77 and continued in the department until 2017. And then I joined him in CMC and worked till the last day. Even on 20th of March, from 11:30 to 12:30 or so, he was in the CMC. We had coffee together. He joked, he discussed politics and a few other things of the trust. And then he went home and he had a normal dinner, and even peace prevailed even in his sleep also. He just went to the sleep and he never got up from the sleep next morning. That was the peace and discipline which he has lived to the last moment, even including his death also. No words would suffice from my side to describe this superhuman being. In my conscious life of nearly 60 years, medical 50 plus another 10 years otherwise, I never saw a more disciplined teacher who can train and mentor students like him as anybody else. My tributes to him, and I just can't really put in words my feelings to him. And the moment I heard his demise, I felt now I have become an orphan in Chandigarh. That was the kind of influence he had on me. I pay my tributes to my teacher, and may his soul rest in peace. And I wish Geeta, Ravi, and his grandchildren to have courage in this moment of grief. Thank you so much.
Sir, we all share your sentiments, sir. Now I request Dr. H.K. Mohanty to say a few words. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute.
Thank you, Professor Mahajan. Good evening, everybody. I convey my heartfelt gratitude and sincere regards to the departed soul of Professor IC Pathak, the pioneer pediatric surgeon and teacher of our teachers. I joined for my MCS study in PGI on 17th January 1984. Few days after, Professor Pathak was taking grand round. During the round, he suddenly went towards the wash basin and closed the leaking water tap and came back to join the round silently. He could have asked any of us to do that job, but no. His motto was doing little things having greater implication of prevention of water wastage, as in this case, silently. And this fact I have applied all throughout my life. During another incident, he stood firmly with his students. One of our colleagues invited all of us to the birthday celebration of his daughter during lunch hour on a Sunday. When we came to the ward to take with us the SR on duty, we found that he was on stress trying to give an IV line to a sick baby. That was pre-Venflon era, and top-scale vein set was only available. And we all tried but failed. One of us could puncture an artery, and the intra-arterial pressure was too much to give IV fluids and life-saving drugs in a conventional way. With no other available solution, some of us suggested to give the IV line stand on the top of a table so that fluid can run from the height of the ceiling to neutralize the arterial pressure. And with this status in situ and keeping the JR on bedside, we left the ward for 30 to 40 minutes. Unfortunately, soon after we left, soon after we left, the JR also left. And again, the consultant, for some reason, came to the ward, and seeing this unusual event, it was promised to fire the SR on duty for this incident. We all got very much shocked and visited Professor Pathak's residence in the same evening and briefed him all what happened. He asked, can you show me literature in this regard? And we told, sir, literature says to save the life, one can use such type of maneuver for a short interval. He replied, please go, nothing will happen. And in reality, nothing happened. He was like a father figure in those difficult days. My sincere regards to his departed soul once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Ramsmus to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Professor Pathak. Thank you, Professor Mahajan. Good evening, everyone. As everybody has already told that Professor Pathak was a great teacher. And he was known for his pleasant personality and punctuality, everybody has said. But I was fortunate to have many evening times spent with him at his residence and talked on various topics. He was very caring and always asked for well-being of all the persons in the department. He was always enthusiastic to attend any functions of the department and always attended all departmental activities. I am proud to inform you all that we have trained 180 MCH students till date in the department, which was started by Professor IC Pathak way back in 1968. I miss him and pray to Almighty God to rest his soul in peace in heaven and give strength to the family members to bear this irreparable and irreversible loss to them. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Secretary of Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons, Dr. Sanjay Rao, to say a few words, please.
Dr. Mahajan, thank you to the alumni of PGI who have lost a father figure and the family of Dr. Pathak. Tributes and condolences from my side personally and from the Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons. Despite my gray hair, I have not been in here long enough to have met him. And it is amazing that the department that he started before I was born. So it's a long legacy that he has left behind. And I think his legacy lives on in the 180 students that have been trained from that department and the millions of patients who have benefited from the skills that he has passed on. By all accounts that I have heard indirectly through my senior colleagues and friends, he was really a personality to emulate. And I think that fact comes across again and again in the various tributes that people have paid him over the last hour or so. But I must say again that his legacy will live on in his students and the various children that he has treated. In this day and age, the fact that he remained active till the very last day and died peacefully is a blessing indeed. It is a blessing indeed, and I can tell this from my own personal experience. So on behalf of myself and the IAPS, please accept my tributes. And I think we should use this occasion to celebrate his life and celebrate the contributions that he has made to pediatric surgery and the wellness of children and training in this country. Please accept my tributes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Now I request Editor-in-Chief, Journal of Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons, Dr. Rasit Saha, to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Dr. J.K. Mahajan. Some people leave a note of positive impression, sense of warmth, and to whom you wish to meet again and again. And he had all these qualities. I had special relationship with all the professors and faculty of PGI Chandigarh and visited PGI multiple times. And every time I feel to come back to this institute because of the warmth provided by one and all. I had opportunity to interact with Dr. IC Pathak during PESICON 2013, organized by the Department of Pediatric Surgery, PGI Chandigarh, when I was chairman of the PESI IAPS. There are some moments which we cherish in our lifetime, and that was my felicitation by him during the PESICON 2013. He was 88 at that time, and felicitation by such a senior person, doyen of pediatric surgery, I think it is the lifetime opportunity. I still remember that moment and that photograph, whoever had clicked, I cherish that all the time. He has been a legend of pediatric surgery in PGI Chandigarh. He was one of the person who was instrumental in establishing Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons. I always love to interact with seniors as there is a lot to learn from them, their experiences, which are not written in the books. He was full of warmth and his loving smile. I think all of us will remember, especially me, whenever I met again him last year when I came to Chandigarh during IC Pathak oration, and I met him at that time. And even at the age of 97, he was full of warmth, and that smile, I will cherish that forever. On behalf of entire editorial board of Journal of Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons, I pray God to grant the eternal peace to the departed soul and strength to the entire family and PGI who has to bear the loss. Om Shanti. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. Now I request Dr. Dashmeet Singh, President of Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons, to say a few words, please. Dr. Dashmeet, please unmute.
Thank you, Dr. Mahajan. It's with great grief, actually, that these two recent incidences where we've had to bid adieu to two of our very senior doyens of pediatric surgery. But it's also heartening to know that their blessings will always remain with us. Going from the past, that every occasion that I remember I have come to PGI, he was always there, and that showed his commitment to the department, to the cause of pediatric surgery. Being one of the founding fathers of pediatric surgery, it was really an honor to have met him and seek his blessings. And I think the entire Association of Pediatric Surgeons owe a lot to all our seniors who set the stage for, they got the association started. And today, being almost 1,600, 1,700 strong association, I think we owe a lot to our founding forefathers. So it's with salutations that we bid them adieu. And we shall always remember them and remember their contribution. I express my heartfelt condolences to the entire family on behalf of the Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dashmeet. So any other member who want to speak? We have received few messages from overseas. So I will read those messages, and from some senior surgeons and pediatric surgeons from India as well. We have message from Professor D.K. Gupta, ex-head of Department of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Says, my most sincere condolences may kindly be passed on to bereaved family. A thorough gentleman, soft-spoken, skilled master in the art of surgery, teaching and patient care. I was fortunate to have him as my examiner, who exerted his moderate influence upon other examiners. I pray to God to grant him internal peace. Professor D.K. Gupta from AIIMS, Delhi. We have another message from Professor, that was Professor D.K. Mitra, sorry. Now this is Professor D.K. Gupta, ex-head of Department of Pediatric Surgery, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. It is with deep sadness we convey our heartfelt condolences on the sad demise of Professor I C Pathak, who was a great academician, an able administrator, a human being par excellence. He shaped the future of not only pediatric surgery, but also medical education in the country. We have lost a teacher of teachers, very dynamic, kind-hearted personality with multifaceted talents in the fraternity. May God rest his noble soul in eternal peace. We have message from a senior pediatric surgeon, Dr. N.C.K. Reddy, who says that charismatic, good-hearted, tower personality among the pediatric surgeons has been lost. May his soul be with Almighty. We have message from Professor Santokh Singh, who is one of the most senior and respected surgeons from Amritsar. He says, truly a top-class surgeon, a wonderful person, soft-spoken and very dedicated, upright person. He was assistant professor with Dr. Santokh Singh Anand in Vijay Hospital, occupied that small office room just at the entrance of East Surgical Unit, which I had the pleasure of occupying when I was AP with Dr. Balwant Singh. Dr. Anand took Dr. Pathak along with many others to PGI. Dr. Pathak was a giant in surgery and will be remembered always in the corridors of surgical time. Rest in peace, sir. So I thank all of you.
Can I say a few words?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Mahajan, can I say a few words?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, Dr. Raj.
I'm Dr. Rajkishore Bagdi, pediatric surgeon. On behalf of all the Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry surgeons, we pay a tribute to Dr. Pathak. See, personally, I did my MS in JIPMA and I got selected for MCH, MD7. Because I attended the Madurai conference and I saw here Dr. Pathak came all the way from Madurai and won the election for president of IAPS. So I was really very attracted to him, his personality. So I applied for PGI Chandigarh and he selected me. But then he told me, hello, Rajkishore, very sorry. We don't have a seat this year. You come after 6 months. So I continued in JIPMA. Then after 6 months, I applied in Chennai. So I got selected in Chennai. He was very upset that why I have not joined PGI Chandigarh. Manmohan Daga was my colleague. He told me, see, Rajkishore, Pathak sahab bahut naraj hai, aap nahi aaye. So I wrote a long letter to him because my mother wasn't well. So I told him I have to stay in Chennai. So then, as you know, it may have it, in 1980, he came as my examiner. He was a very good friend of MS Ramakrishnan. So they had a very cordial relationship. So in the exam, the first thing he asked me, hello, Bagdi, how's your mother? So MSR also looked at me. See, this man remembers what a little letter you wrote to him. Such was his memory and love. And we always used to meet him in all the conferences and his grace, which has been talked of. See, it's like that, like Professor Dasmeet Singh has mentioned. It is because of Pathak, Upadhyaya, MSR, TDR, R.K. Gandhi, Subhash Dalal. This specialty has come. Today, we are all pediatric surgeons only because of such great people. If they were not there, our specialty would not have started at all. That is the thing. That is what Dasmeet Singh has told, and that is the real truth. We all owe it today, 1,600 pediatric surgeons that we are. We owe it to such great people. And we all remember Dr. Pathak so much. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir. Professor D.K. Gupta is online. Sir, we read your message, but if you personally want to convey, please. Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mahajan. I just joined. I am late, though. It is with great sadness that we heard the sad news about passing away of our revered teacher, Professor I C Pathak. We had great respect. We visited quite often. Whenever we visited Chandigarh, he was a frequent visitor to our department in AIIMS in New Delhi. And we learned so much from his deliberations. But the most appreciable thing that I liked about him was that he had an infectious smile on his face always. He greeted with a smile. He used to love and respect even the junior ones. And of course, I never had the opportunity to work professionally with him, but we always admired his administrative capabilities, about his professional achievements, contributions, and of course, he did so much as a founder member of IAPS, as a director of PGI Chandigarh, and of course, a great friend to AIIMS New Delhi. On this occasion, I convey my condolences and hope the family will be able to bear the loss that we all had. We have lost a very personal friend and personal revered teacher of teachers in the IAPS fraternity. All the best, Dr. Mahajan, for hosting this memorial meeting. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Professor Ravi Kumar. Yes, sir.
Thanks very much, Dr. Mahajan, for calling me. It's really sad that two doyens of pediatric surgery have successfully died within a short period of time. I joined pediatric surgery in 1969 with Professor Emeritus Professor. At that time, just in 1968, Professor IC Pathak started the Department of Pediatric Surgery in Chandigarh. From that time onwards, I had the opportunity to meet him several times, interact with him in Chandigarh in several forums, and I was also a visiting professor to the Chandigarh for about 10 to 15 days when I had an opportunity to interact with everybody. And he was a great person and an immaculately dressed, standing erect with a very pleasant smile and very pleasant manners. And subsequently in 2019, I was asked to give the oration on his name, his 90th birthday. But unfortunately, due to some health issues, I couldn't attend, and Professor K.K. Verma gave the oration. And I really feel sad that, of course, he is well past 90 years of age, and the inevitability has happened. That happens to everybody. But he was a doyen of pediatric surgery who has contributed immensely to the development and training various groups of people throughout India, and he will be remembered and cherished for a long period of time. Please convey my heartfelt condolences to the family. Thank you for giving me this.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Geeta Mehta, daughter of Professor IC Pathak, is with us. And you want to say something? Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahajan, and thank you everyone on this call. We are so honored that you included us, and we got to share your stories and celebrate his life with you. The only thing that I can add is he was also an amazing father, and he will be missed for all that I have learned from him in my life. And this is his sister, Mrs. Sheel Bakshi. So I think she has the honor of knowing him longer than anybody else on this call. So thank you so much for having us, and really appreciate everything you've said.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm grateful to all the members of alumni of the department, as well as members from Indian Association of Pediatric Surgeons, who have joined this meeting and expressed their thoughts on this meeting. I'm grateful to Dr. Geeta Mehta that in this hour of grief, you have joined us and shared your thoughts with us. So with that, we close this meeting, and I thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Manajan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.